What's up, guys? This is Boondocks, and today's day 5 of the Can They Support series, in which we're going to be looking at Ember for today. So, can she support? Yes, and in some very unique kind of ways. So, for starters, I'm going to be looking at her buffing setup, in which, sadly, I haven't leveled up the Fireball Frenzy mod, which, when at max rank, will apply an additional 100% fire damage to any teammate that I buff. So, imagine I have a Radiant Javelin Excalibur on my team, and then I shoot them with my Fireball. Now the Radiant Javelin is going to do an additional 100% fire damage. When you combine this with the Radiant Javelin damage to begin with, it becomes ridiculous. So this buff that I'm going to give is going to do 100% increased damage. The duration is going to be 40 seconds, and in all honesty, that duration is more than enough. Since your primary job is going to be buffing, you might as well just stick it at that and not worry about increasing your duration overall. Additionally, the amount of damage that this does at 100% is going to be scaling off of your power strength. So, at having an additional 243% power strength by having my Transient Fortitude, a halfway leveled up Blind Rage, and my Intensify, I'm going to get it to 243, and now I'm going to be adding 243% increased fire damage to whatever team that I buff instead of the base 100, which is pretty damn good. Excuse me, my voice cracked a little bit. Additionally, having that much power strength is excellent for another ability that Ember has that really benefits you, and that's going to be Accelerant. And to make sure I can spread my Accelerant to as many enemies as possible, I'm going to throw on a Stretch mod. And then Streamline and Constitution just make up for a little bit of the duration and efficiency loss, but you shouldn't worry too much about efficiency, because typically when you're going to be running the buff Ember, you're going to also have a EV Trinity with you, so you should almost always be at full health regardless, or full energy, sorry. So an interesting thing too is if you look at Accelerant Multiplier at 243% power strength, it's 6 times the damage. So basically the idea here is you'd have an EV Trin, you'd have whatever your primary attacker is, whether it's Excalibur or Mesa, anybody, and what you would do is shoot them with a Fireball. Hang on, let me get full energy, pretending I have an EV. I would shoot them with a Fireball, and then Accelerant. And then wait a little bit, Accelerant. Maybe shoot another Fireball if I'm bored. You're a buffer. You're not really expected to do too much damage. You could, theoretically, considering it's going to have so much damage and you'll have an EV Trin, you could always mix in maybe a little Fire Swirl there. Why not, right? So that's the buffing build. I personally haven't used it, but it's something that exists, and people like to use it for Draco, going on late runs. The other build that you can use, however, is an actual control build using World on Fire. So not only does World on Fire typically cause enemies to panic, but with the Syndicate mod Firequake, it's now going to have a 100% chance to knock down any enemies that you contact with it. So, for starters, let me make sure I have that going so that way I can get in some melee if need be. And let's spawn some Corrupted Heavy Gunners. Yeah, let's just do 10 of them. I don't know why I struggled so much with that. And we do need to jack up the level so that way they don't die instantly, or relatively instantly. Make sure I'm at full energy, and let's go try this out. So let me turn on my World on Fire. Start knocking some bitches down. Ooh, yeah. So now not only are they on fire, but they're also getting knocked down, which is excellent if you have any melee fighters on your team that want to use some finisher damage. And as long as you stay on the move, you can constantly just keep knocking down one enemy and then the next, and just kind of rotating through. And there you have it. That's Ember as a control frame in a nutshell. And I'm gonna die. So that's definitely one way of using her as a control. So can she support? Yes, she can, but in very unique ways, either as a buffer or as a weird crowd control unit that's going to rely on kind of luck, because you need to have your World on Fire proc underneath an enemy at the right time in order to knock them down. But as long as you stay on the move, you're going to just continually knock down one enemy, then the next, and so on. So, yes, she can support. Try her out sometime. And until next time, like, comment, and subscribe, and peace.